A very warm good morning to one and all who have gathered here digitally for the webinar, especially for the family students on What Next. I extend my heartiest welcome to the eminent speaker of the day, Dr. Sharat Chandra Chenoy, Assistant Professor, College of Pharmaceutical Sciences, Government Medical College, Kannur, Kerala. He has also served as Assistant Professor in Gulf Medical University, Ajman, UAE. Sir has more than 17 years of experience in the academic domain. Sir has guided 2 PhD projects, 23 PG projects, 6 UG projects, and various review studies. He has also delivered more than 40 presentations on various topics at national and international conventions and institutions. Sharad Sir has more than 25 publications to his credit and has authored a textbook, A Concise Insight on Mucoadhesive Buccal Drug Delivery System, published by Lambert Academic Publications. Sir is a lifetime member of the Association of Pharmaceutical Teachers of India. He has also been a part of more than 40 conferences and workshops. Sir was awarded as the best teacher by the Alumni Association of the Academy of Pharmaceutical Sciences, Government Medical College, Kannur. Sir was also selected as one of the few representatives of India to undergo the International Pharmaceutical Federation Pharma Bridge Fellowship Training Program at the School of Pharmacy, University of South California, Los Angeles, USA, on Advanced Pharmacy Practice and PharmD Curriculum of USA. It's a pleasure, sir, to have you here with us today to address the greatest concern of any PharmD student and graduate, that is what next. I welcome you again, sir, and over to you.
Thank you, Adira. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
My slides are visible on your screen, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Perfect. So thank you, Adira, and thank you, madam, and the entire team from School of Pharmacy and Parul University. In fact, it is a great honor or a privilege to join you all and share my experience, because in this particular session of What Next, which I have titled as What Next, I just would like to share my experiences and information which I have gathered over the years, because being a faculty in a government organization is because I was the government controlled organization, and with my few of my international experiences, and also I'm a alumni in charge for my institution and also placement cell officer, I can really understand the concern of students, and especially the students who are presently or already done with the PharmD program, which is really an upcoming program, in my opinion. So whatever I'm going to share, there is no science involved in today's presentation, or I just want to give some experience sharing and the knowledge sharing, which may be useful for you to plan for your next move. So in this presentation, anyway, this is a disclaimer note, just to, because some of the opinions or the informations I have taken from the regulations, and this is just for the sake of this presentation. And these all are my individual opinion, and my institution, that is College of Pharmacy, has got no involvement, or it is not their statement as such. So this is just a disclaimer note. And in this presentation, what I'm going to discuss, I just want to share certain objectives I've set for this particular session. Like I just wanted to share some personal experience, which I would like to share with the students who opted for the PharmD program, and also the students who already finished their graduation and looking for their future plans. So I just want to share certain experiences which I gathered. Then also information on postgraduate training, especially the residency programs and the significance of board certification. I would like to share a few information which can help you to proceed further. And also during the presentation, I'll give you certain informative resources which you can get it, which anybody can get it, because the internet has really helped us to gather information with a single click. And also finally, during the session, I expect few questions and answer, because we got a limited time schedule. And during the presentation, I would like to discuss about the issues, and also would like to brief little about the career options which a PharmD students can opt for, because I'm not going to talk much about the industry, the pharmaceutical industries, which generally the PharmD graduates from India may not opt for. And also, I'm not going to talk much about the research and other things. I'll be more focusing about the career, which may preferably suitable for a PharmD graduate. And beyond that, see, whatever information I'm going to share it, this is not just, that is not the end. This is what I know, or rather I am associated with, or we are involved with. So beyond that, there are plenty of options available also. Okay, let us move on to the session. So this is our journey. Like any other plus 2 student, because there may be some first year PharmD students available. I hope they may be available in this particular session. See, everyone among us might have faced this particular issue. What to do when you finish off the plus 2? Even I faced it because my father was a doctor, and but I was quite lucky that he never compelled me to become a doctor, whereas my brother has become a doctor. So there will be, like, especially in Kerala or South India, that tradition is there. Like father, you need to follow the footstep. Like they'll be compelling you to be, especially in Kerala, you should be a doctor or engineer. That is limited to that extent. So that pressure will be there, but somehow I was quite lucky, and I was allowed to opt what I wanted to do. And to be honestly, that was not what I wanted to do, because that was a time I was enjoying my cricket and football on field activities, and somehow I had to do some graduation. So my father only helped me to select this particular stream. Probably it took nearly third year B Farm for me, or second year B Farm for me to realize what is pharmacy. And later, when I was in third or fourth year, I started dreaming bigger. So that's what it happened. Then I finished my pharmacy. Like you, some of you might have already finished the PharmD program. Again, it is a new mode of your journey begins, because it was earlier the student life, then it is your professional and personal life which has to be balanced properly. So it is really a confusing scenario, and especially with the pharmacy program, which I really believe that unlike IT profession or unlike some of other profession, a pharmacy graduate has to swim across the tide. Means we never swim with the tide. Like IT, it had a tide, so you just swim with the tide and you reach to the max, you cover the maximum mileage, and you need not take extra effort to swim faster. Whereas against the tide, you must be very strong mentally, you must be very tough, and you must be competent, so that you should swim across the tide to be successful. So you should not get tired. So believe me, students, believe my friends, that you need to be very strong. You must be very focused and committed once you enter to the stream of pharmacy, because it is going to give you success, but you need to be patient. You must be strong enough to go forward. Okay, now, why career in pharmacy? Is it right for me? That is another concern. It's like most of you might have finished plus 2, and why you opted for pharmacy. And if you ask in Kerala, in my state, they will say, I did not get for MBBS, or I did not get for BDS. That is the reason I have to come for this profession, because it's associated with the hospital. I can wear the apron, I can walk and talk like a doctor. But I don't believe in such an attitude or such a choice. So basically, if you have interest and sufficient basic knowledge in science, I feel you are fit enough to look for a pharmacy program and plan a career in pharmacy. And really, there are certain segment of people who really wanted to be part of healthcare sector, like to serve the community, serve the patient needs, and in part of that industry. And definitely, are always welcome to this particular profession of pharmacy. Then to build relationship with society, I believe in that, because being a healthcare professional, I can, if I'm really willing to do it, I can really build a beautiful relationship and a stronger relationship within the society, and society will recognize me, and they offer me the enough respect in
Uh, Extremely sorry for this interruption. So, sir has some network issue. He'll be joining back in a minute. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Welcome back, sir.
Okay, sorry, because 1 minute. Yeah. Can you tell me where did I got this? Where I got disconnected? Hello.
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 Yes, sir. Sir, it was
Yeah.
just a minute ago, sir. So it was not that
Uh,
long.
okay, fine. Whether I reached this part?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Fine. So sorry for the inconvenience because there was some network issue from our point or my point also because there was some maintenance work is going on. Anyway, hopefully that it won't happen again. So I was talking about the career, why career in pharmacy, and that's what I was telling. Your interest in science, your knowledge in science, or your instinct to be part of the healthcare sector, and also to build relationship with society that makes you a perfect choice for a pharmacy career. And along with that, the flexibility in career options, like there are plenty of career you can have in your pharmacy profession. So that makes it unique. And finally, one more thing, is it right for me? That is the major concern. Okay, so let us move on to the next slide. I was talking about the career options. So as I mentioned, there is public sector, private sector openings are available, especially in public sector. I don't think there are much of clinical pharmacist options are available. But in private sector, there are a lot of openings in as a clinical pharmacist. There are openings in the pharmacovigilance, or there are openings in the CROs. So plenty of options are available. Anyway, we'll go to it in later stages. Then there is something called as entrepreneurship, which I really promote these days among my students, because rather than working in a public sector or private sector, you be an entrepreneur, especially under the present ministry. There is a lot of promotion given for entrepreneurship or the startup activities, which really we pharmacists or we pharmacy professionals or pharmacy graduates or upcoming pharmacy graduates can really encash it. Okay, now this is my concern issues. Now, when I interact with the students or the latest or present outcoming graduates, what I felt was they really miss the real passion for the job. Rather, they simply consider it just another job. So, when you are part of a pharmacy profession, let it be a pharmacist, I believe that a person must be committed with real passion for what he's doing rather than just go to your pharmacy, do the billing job, just dispense the thing and stop over there. Then you will start hating what you're doing. Rather, you must be really passionate. You must be involved in the activities happening within the pharmacy so that you will enjoy what you're doing. Then obviously you'll be having a longevity and you'll be having much more success than just considering it just as another job. So as a student, as a new graduate, a graduate who's entering into a career, pharmacy career, I believe you must always set a short-term goal as well as a long-term goal. Now, what is this short-term goal and long-term goal? And if you really think the present trend, I feel there are students who just think about short-term benefit, or a student will or a graduate will opt for a job in which he has got no passion or interest. Now, what does it mean by short-term goal and long-term goal? Now, short-term goal, when I say, see, when you enter into a profession, when you enter into a career, you see, it doesn't mean that I will only work as a clinical pharmacist. See, there are certain students who just are waiting or remain at their home, just in a determined mood that they'll do only the clinical pharmacist profession. Maybe a good decision from their point of view, but I will say they are actually committing some kind of mistake. So you do something, you have to be involved in the profession. So why don't you join in a community pharmacist, get your experience gained from there, at least come across the various brands available in your pharmacy or in your market, know about the prescription habits, and get experience by interacting with the patients who approach you, because these are all the skills. So I will say you don't remain always in a community pharmacist, and once you are in a community pharmacist, gain your skill, gain your knowledge, think for a long-term goal, because whatever you gain from here, experience and skill, must be utilized for your long-term goal to become a clinical pharmacist or a hospital pharmacist at a corporate level. So instead of that, imagine you simply remain at home, try, keep on sending your CV, somehow you will get a job, but I will tell you, it will take at least 1 to 2 years for you to adjust to that particular new job, so that it is going to affect your further promotion and other growth aspects in your career. So I say always to the student, do some activities that should be part of your short-term goal. So during that particular activity, you must gain the skill and knowledge which may be useful for your future long-term goal, which may be some clinical pharmacist or working in a CRO, some whatever it is. Like if you wanted to be in a research, again, this can be applicable even for the students. See, because what I always believe is, when a student studies in a school of pharmacy or a college or any institution, the information what he gains is hardly 30%, which may be useful for his profession. Then, like you pharmacy students are going for internship, additional 20% may be gained during that internship. It all applicable for the students who are really committed and sincere to their academics. I mean, it's not that you go to school and you gain the 30% of skill and knowledge or 20% with internship. So by the time you finish from school, it will be hardly 50% of skill or knowledge available with you. So remaining is you have to gain during your profession or during your career. So what you need to do is you need to work hard when you what you do is when you join a career, even in a pharmacy, even it is a hospital pharmacy, you must learn more, you must gain your skills which may be helpful for your future career or long-term goal which you might have set. Now, a person who wanted to be who's more interested to do some research after its PharmD program. See, when you are in your school itself, you must have a habit of writing the papers, literature reviews you need to make. You need to publish with some research paper. You must be involved in some multidisciplinary research activities with your physicians available in the hospitals, because that will that will really improvise your skill. And again, the same skills can be carried over in your professional life. Now, I hope that in PharmD program, there is journal club. See, journal club is one particular part of our program which can really bring a lot of goods for us, goods for our students. Like their research interest can be improvised. Their clinical knowledge can be improvised. Again, imagine if you conduct your journal clubs by having your physicians, your nurses, or other healthcare professionals who are part of your team, and ensure that they also assemble during your journal clubs, and your students making the presentations, or you people make the presentation in front of such an expertise team, that will bring out more knowledge and more skill and more confidence for our students. That's what I feel. So there are certain things which we should learn from the school. There are certain things we should learn from a short-term goal which can be extended to our long-term career options. Now, desired scenario, which I always believe is balance between your short-term goal and long-term goal. And along with that, you must have sufficient knowledge about various career options, along with proper mentorship. Now, this is what, again, I give more emphasis, like mentorship. Now, in our institutions, like a PharmD institution with other B.Pharm programs, there may be some 30 to 35 faculties available at a minimum, or 30 faculties may be available at a minimum. And students actually should identify their right mentor, because I believe that every faculty has got their good professional network, which may be exploited or utilized for the future career options of our students. Similarly, a student should also identify his right mentor. He should communicate with that mentor or communicate with that faculty and gain the more information. And also, students also try to enhance their networking, like through your faculty, you get to network with their friend, your faculty's friend who may be positioned as a clinical pharmacist or is part of a pharmacovigilance program. And you must network through them so that you reach that person. And also you can try out the options like LinkedIn and all. So all this, even the Facebook in that condition, I'll say the Facebook is also very useful, and Twitter is also useful, but there are a lot of professionally expertise people are available in the site. So you can also get network, and that will provide you more knowledge. That will provide you an opportunity to gain a career, because I have certain examples with me, because we have students who have networked through networked well through the social media platforms and stepped ahead for their future career options. Even I'll tell you, like, imagine you are doing you're interested in research, very much interested in research, and you want to have a career in research. In that condition, you may be having an excellent habit of going through the papers. Now, when you go through the papers, there may be some author who may be part of some research lab or research universities. So you must be you must try to get network with such people. Like I always tell, there are some wonderful peer-reviewed papers published, and if you're interested to carry out your research in that area, you must communicate with the author so that you build a relationship with that person, and through that relationship, in certain condition or if available, that particular researcher may offer you a workbench under him. I have seen such people who have reached to US or who have worked in some European lab just creating a networking through the publication which they have come across, and they communicate with that author and build a relationship. Finally, that author has invited this gentleman to work under him. So these are few options. So what I mean is, never stick with a short-term goal, and also never choose a job without 100% passion, because passion matters. If you don't meet up this requirement, then you are going to face the issues, and you are going to hate your profession, and virtually you're going to hate your teachers, you're going to hate your parents who has put you in a pharmacy program. I can see many of people, nobody accept their own failure. Rather, we are very much happy to put the blame on others. This is what I have seen. So I don't want any future generation to that direction. So it's all up to you. You need to plan and you need to move on. Now, why pharmacy for India? As Narendra Modi ji has said, like entire world has accepted, like India is the world's pharmacy, because we are the largest supplier of now COVID vaccine, and entire world looks forward to us. Now, again, if you see the Indian scenario, we are the second most populated nation with 29 states and 7 union territories and more than 20 languages spoken in this country. But if you check our industry size, is expected to reach around $280 billion US, which is a huge amount. Then approximately there are 7 lakh, around nearly 10 lakhs of retail, 1 million retail community pharmacies available in this country, and nearly 10,000 chain pharmacies like MedPlus, Hetero, Apollo and all got. Even Reliance has recently jumped into the segment of chain pharmacies. Then online pharmacies also on the go for the last 2 years. And above that, it is now the rise of corporate hospital culture in India. Now, corporate hospitals may be really expensive. All the population cannot afford to go for a corporate hospital. But for us, it is giving more opportunities, especially like as our state, Kerala, is really encashing with the corporate hospital by focusing on medical tourism. Medical tourism is a present trend, especially in Kerala state, where people travel to this destination to get their medical attention. Like people from US, the people from Middle East, the people from Southeast Asia, all travel to Kerala because we have some fantastic. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible, sir.
Yeah. Okay, fine. Sorry. So Middle East and Southeast Asia, people travel to Kerala just to get their medical attention or medical care. So why it is attractive for us, it is beneficial for us, because all these corporate hospitals are accredited with the quality standards like NABH, or there are certain hospitals which goes for the international accreditation like Canadian accreditation or JCI accreditation. When they go for this accreditation, because this international medical tourism requires international accreditation itself, so what happens is they have to employ the clinical pharmacist. They have to have the patient counseling facilities. They must employ medication therapy management team. They must have a drug information center. They must have a pharmacovigilance department. All these are happening. All these are happening in last 2 to 3 years. So believe me, maybe in a decade, maybe in 5 years' time, we are going to see a lot of opportunities for the pharmacists, especially the PharmD graduates, because you're considered to be expertise in clinical pharmacy segment. So they will be offering you the job, but to encash that job or grab that job, we must be ready ourselves. We must be skilled. We must be knowledgeable. We must be competent to grab that job. So I'm saying we are going to have a bright future, because I'm an optimistic guy. I never see what in my life, whatever I wanted to do, I've tried out. Some of them landed me in failure. Some of them gave me success, but I gained a lot of experience with my own failure and success. So, but I'm an optimistic guy. I look forward for a bright future, and this corporate culture may be harmful for a poor section of our society, again, which is government is supporting them through the insurance schemes and all, but it may get us a lot of opportunities. Okay. Now, what are the other options? Now, like clinical pharmacy practitioner, that is a dream job for most of the clinical pharmacists or the PharmD graduate in India. But again, right now the opportunities are limited. But still, if you ask me, my students are getting opportunity. They are employed. Some of them are employed even in Medanta in Delhi and all. So what it shows is, if you are willing to travel down, if you are willing to come out of your comfort zone, that I wanted to be at my home, I wanted to be in my bedroom by night after my job, that may not be happening right now. So you need to come out of your comfort zone. You must be in a determined mood that, okay, I'm not going to sleep in my house for at least next 1 year. I'm just going to be in a lodge or a bachelor's quarters. So that kind of determination, that kind of mindset can really fetch you a clinical pharmacist job in a wonderful corporate hospital across the country. Because across the country, let it be in Gujarat, let it be in Hyderabad or Andhra, let it be in Kerala, even in Goa, they have now corporate hospitals managed by this Medanta group or Apollo group, or all these reputed. Aster in Kerala, they are the most reputed. It's a Middle East company, Aster. Now, so these priority options are, these clinical pharmacist options are not just in India. Even those who are interested to travel Middle East, they can grab this CPP options or MTM, that is medication therapy management option, job options are available. Because if you travel to Middle East, there are a lot of, because Middle East, especially UAE right now, or for the last 5 years, they are really focusing on medical tourism, and a lot of hospitals like invested by VPS Group. VPS is a Kerala-based group, is the largest group in the Middle East, and there is Canadian, German Saudi German hospital, then Canadian groups, and also some Israeli groups have invested heavily in hospital segment in Middle East, like Aster and VPS Group and all. So they all offer this clinical pharmacist post in Middle East, and many of my students actually are part of that particular portfolio. Because even in Saudi, I have my student who is working in John Hopkins Aramco, which is American controlled hospital in Saudi. He's working as a clinical pharmacist over the last few years. And when I see his profile, he got the job. He got the job in John Hopkins, Saudi Aramco, and later he did not stop over there. He started improvising his skill, and he went to the extent that he has even cleared the BPS certification, Board of Pharmacy Specialty certification issued from US. So that also he has achieved, because that what retains him over there. It is a very competent segment. Unlike in India, if you go to Middle East and Southeast Asia, it's really, really competent to stay as a clinical pharmacist. So these openings are not just available in India, even though it's coming up in India. It's already there in Middle East, and more is expected to come in Middle East region. Then pharmacovigilance, very familiar. See, I've seen those who wanted to be a clinical pharmacist, they might not have got the entry. Then their next choice becomes pharmacovigilance. Now, pharmacovigilance, again, you have the options under public sector. Also, you have options under private sector. Now, if you think about the private sector, even the pharmaceutical companies, like major companies like Cipla, I don't want to talk much about the pharmacovigilance activity which is happening in the hospital and all. But what I want to say is the companies like Cipla, Cadila, all the pharmaceutical majors, they have a separate pharmacovigilance department. Because what happens is during a clinical trial, it is a controlled environment. So once it is done, a product is ready and product is given with all the labeling requirements, or the leaflets informations have been prepared, then it goes to the market. Now it is a mass population. Again, some issues may happen with the product. So such things will be monitored and reported by the pharmacovigilance team in the pharmaceutical companies, and whatever further modifications are required, including in the labeling, they do it. They provide the necessary advice. So there are a lot of openings which can be easily grabbed by the PharmD graduate right in our own country, that is in the pharmacovigilance sector. I think this is one sector which offers maximum job opportunities for PharmD right now in the country. And also there is medical writing, which you may be familiar with. Again, in India, a lot of openings are available. Now, both this pharmacovigilance, medical writing, clinical research, very much familiar for you, but all of these openings are will provide you a career growth which may be vertical as well as horizontal. Vertical means you climb the ladder and you become senior and grab the senior post. Horizontal opening, what I mean is, like, you can shift within the segment. Like, you be in medical writing, then you shift to a signaling department, or you in pharmacovigilance you do about the drug safety and you shift to other segment. Because there are so many allied branches of the pharmacovigilance, there are so many allied professions of the medical writing. So all these things will offer you both horizontal career growth as well as a vertical career growth. Now, again, clinical research, we have the competition from MBBS students, MBBS graduates, and BDS graduates, because some of the MBBS and BDS graduates are nowadays interested to shift to the clinical research organization. But if you see the profile issued or advertised by the companies, you can see we are in that same league, like PharmD/MBBS/BDS/nursing. It comes in that direction. So this is a beautiful opening for you. Then regarding the teaching, those who got real passion for teaching are rather invited to this profession. Now, teaching, anyway, you have got PharmD qualification. You can join anywhere in India as a faculty under PCA regulation. But again, this is very important. If you're really interested to go abroad, now, in Middle East, where I was working in an international university, Gulf Medical University, which is an ACP accredited university in UAE, and the first institution which offered PharmD program in UAE. So, one second. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sure, sir. Sure.
One second. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hello. Yes. ഞാനൊന്ന് മീറ്റിംഗിലാണ്, കുറച്ചും കൂടി. സോറി. Okay, sorry. It is actually what is happening right now. Today is a COVID vaccination day, so I am
Okay, sir.
coordinating with the vaccine. I am coordinating for my institution about the vaccination. That is a problem.
Oh,
Sorry for
no
that.
problem.
So,
No problem, sir. We totally understand, sir.
okay,
Yes, sir.
okay. So regarding teaching, why I want to tell you, see, if teaching is one profession which may not attract many in India, but at the same time, if you go abroad, like in Middle East or Southeast Asian countries like Malaysia and Singapore, because in Malaysia and Singapore, there are a lot of opening, but in Middle East, the package is so high. The salary package is unimaginable package. And nowadays, the Middle East institutions are accepting the PharmD graduates provided they get a PhD. Like if you wanted to work in Middle East institution as a faculty, as an assistant professor or above rank, you must be a PhD holder also. Like I'm an M.Pharm with PhD holder. That makes me suitable, but that makes me an eligible candidate to apply for a teaching post in overseas country. Now, similarly, if you got PharmD, and if you can further continue with your study and continue with your PhD program and finish it, you can straight away apply your profile in any international university which has got clinical pharmacy program. It just need not be a PharmD program. You can apply to Middle East or any international university which has got clinical pharmacy program. And believe me, it is only in India we are focusing much on the technical part or industry part. If you go rest of the world, including Pakistan, you will find it is more inclined towards the clinical clinical level or clinical program. So people with PharmD with PhD are eligible to work as a faculty, full-time faculty in assistant professor with an experienced associate and above with 5 years experience with post PhD, you can be an associate and higher ranks you can gain easily. The package will be really nice and the teaching environment will be real professional environment. We'll just enjoy what we do. And if you're simply a PharmD graduate, still you can apply for the post of lecturer, you can apply the post of clinical instructor, you can apply for the post of clinical preceptor in all these clinical pharmacy based courses offered by various universities in Middle East. So beautiful opening, salary package will be excellent. They provide all the accommodation because I enjoyed that particular stint in the international university and it will get maximum exposure. Okay, then a novel segment, pharmacogenomics. See, earlier, at present, our medication therapy and everything is based upon pharmacodynamics. But in US, I think it has started during the Bill Clinton era. They slowly shifted to pharmacogenomics, or rather, I should say, customized medication. Like in right drug for the right patient at the right dose. So that concept has evolved and that really improvised or it started providing more opportunities for the clinical pharmacists with excellent knowledge in pharmacogenetics. So when I tell these things to my students here, they will not accept it. So they will still, because our syllabus are more inclined to pharmacodynamics, but it has changed. Now slowly the pharmacogenomics is coming up, pharmacogenetics is coming up, and it is going to be a personalized medication or customized medication within next 10 years. And most of the drugs, you can check the US FDA profile, US FDA website. Most of the drugs recently or approved in last 5 years by US FDA comes under the category of pharmacogenomics or customized medications. They started shifting from pharmacodynamics to pharmacogenomics. So that is one area if you are really interested to work on, but you need to strengthen your position in pharmacogenetics right at your school days. And also do some master's program or PhD in that direction so that you become a fit candidate. Because with our present curriculum or present syllabus, I don't think our students or our faculties can do much with the pharmacogenomics aspect. But in India, there is no shortage of experts in pharmacogenomics or pharmacogenetics because one of my friend is doing exceedingly good because after his B.Pharm, he shifted to MSc in life science. He has did MSc in life science He did his PhD in DNA sequencing and presently employed in a US lab working on what you call the drugs for, or rather in customized medication segment. So there is one area which may be coming up very soon. You can also try out in that particular segment. Then there is something called as PBM, not much popular because I put some star marks. PBM is not much popular in India, but it will come. It is going to come because our country is shifting to insurance scheme. Even pharmacy medication will be done in insurance in future, next 5 years time. And a lot of chain pharmacies are coming up. They are going to link with this insurance team, and all your medication expenses will be managed through this insurance scheme. So pharmacy benefit management is one segment which is really popular in US, and again that is going to soon come up in India. So that is going to give us more opportunities as a clinical pharmacist. Like a clinical pharmacist are an experts in medication management, and also he must be in an excellent position to work with these companies and provide the necessary pharmacy benefits to the patients. Then comes the drug information happening right now in India. Like call centers are there, but it's in a very small scale because mostly of the call centers are associated with some of the hospitals, the corporate hospital. But in US, it is very common to have the call centers and the poison control where the patient or where the population will be, where the person or the citizens will be calling them for all necessary information. Because I have seen it personally. Because when I was in US for 1.5 months training at Los Angeles, University of Southern California, because University of Southern California is the first university in the world which started PharmD program in 1950s. I could see it, I could experience it, what they are doing, and I was feeling proud and also envious when I see a pharmacist doing what not. Because I was really proud at one moment. See, I'm a pharmacist, my fellow pharmacist is doing all these tasks, and he's making his patient happy, he's providing all necessary information. So it is something, a privilege for us. At the same time, I was feeling a little bit envy upon him because I'm not doing anything right in my country. But again, things has to change because I'm an optimistic guy. I believe everybody is optimistic and things has to change. And we are going to have the same sort of career options in our country. Then there are two more, like certified diabetic educator. It is there in US. It is there in some of the Middle East centers. It is there in Southeast Asia, where clinical pharmacist who is expertised in diabetic management becomes qualified diabetic educator, and he'll be certified for that, and he will be providing all necessary assistance for the diabetic patient who visits that hospital. They will not meet the physician. They will meet the physician, later come to the clinical pharmacist to get information on diabetes and how the medication has to be managed. Then remote order verification, again, it is there in US and Canada, and I believe that it may come soon in our country. Then one more segment which I have missed out is transition of care. See, I have seen in US, I have seen the role played by the clinical pharmacist in transition of care, and especially in University Medical Center in Los Angeles, with the largest Norris Center, which is a cancer center. I could see how clinical pharmacist is involved in their routine activities which provide transition of care, like a patient which gets discharged from the hospital, moves to his house, and for any medication related inquiries, they will not contact the hospital, rather they will contact the pharmacist who is associated with the transition of care activities. Now, what it has done is it has really decreased the mortality and morbidity cases in US, especially in that center. They have shown us the data, and also it has reduced the cost of the patient. For him, he may not be getting readmitted for some errors, which may happen because of improper information shared to him. So such changes, such professional opportunities are available, and some of them already available in India, and more opportunities are coming up for you. Just keep yourself patient, just keep yourself ready, just be competent to grab that opportunities. Okay, now let us move on to the other segment, like pharmacy informatics, which is also an upcoming stream, which is like, if you're really a tech savvy, you're an expert in IT or information technology. I could see many kids, many students who are really master in handling the the softwares and handling the hardwares, etc. I will tell you, you people can really focus on pharmacy informatics. Like it is a scientific field where your medical information is correlated, medication information data is correlated with your IT. So you can develop the softwares. And if I'm not mistaken, one of our institution in Kerala. I'll tell the institution name. If I'm not mistaken, it's Al Shifa College of Pharmacy. One of the student, a PharmD student, has developed his own software, which can be installed in a hospital and provide necessary information to the physician, nurses, and etc. And they are looking for patenting of. They already filed patenting of that particular software, which is purely developed. It may not happen with all the students, but the students who are really tech savvy, a great understanding of the computers and software, with ample information, excellent information in your own field, then try to merge this information with the information with the technology, come out with your own solution, come out with your own product that can make you really a millionaire if you're fortunate. Then medicalization, actually medicalization, I've just used this terminology. Actually, I could say this is something more or less like a medico marketing. Now, this is one segment where don't think it is a medical representative's job, which you may not like, but I like that profession because you can learn so much as a medical representative. You can improvise your language, you can improvise your subject knowledge, you'll be more confident, you'll be having more time management skills, etc. But there is something beyond that. That is part of your corporate culture. It is like you might have heard about the product management team, PMT, in a company. See, this is a team which designs the strategies of promoting the product. They train the medical sales representatives. They conduct the CMEs in the hospitals for the physician. They interact with the physician to provide all necessary information about the product so that indirectly your product will get increased sales or it will be promoted in that direction. So this is called as a PMT. It is also called as medico marketing. Maybe a better or more scientific terminology may be medicalization. So this is one segment. Off late, because I was promoting this segment because I worked as a medico marketing person, because I started my career in medico marketing as a PMT member in US Vitamins Mumbai, and I really enjoyed that profession because you can travel a lot, you interact with a lot of experts in the healthcare, and also you can manage your own schedule and finally taste the success. So it gives a beautiful career platform for you. And at present, GlaxoSmithKline has hired, I know that some of the PharmD graduates are hired by the GlaxoSmithKline for this particular post. Don't think it is medical representative post because it's a corporate level post where you'll be interacting only with the managers like general manager or marketing manager or VP marketing, etc. So it's a corporate job which really requires subject knowledge. It's clinical knowledge. Why I'm telling? Because I was working in Mumbai, Bangalore area. My company was Bombay. I was positioned in Karnataka, that is Bangalore. You may be taking rest on Sunday evening. Suddenly you may get a call from a physician because all the physicians may be having your number. He will straight away ask you some clarification about the product. Like that time we had a bisoprolol, and I still remember I was taking a nap. I was having a light nap during the Sunday afternoon after the lunch. Suddenly this physician called me up and he was asking me something. If I don't remember what he really asked me that time, bisoprolol. So all of a sudden you have to answer it. So it's like a walking encyclopedia job with a marketing touch. So those who are really interested in marketing, those who are really interested in traveling at the company's expense, those who really wanted to experience good stay at the company's expense in a star hotel, really think about this particular profession because you are fit for that. Because I had my MPharm clinical pharmacy colleagues at that time with US Vitamins, because that time there was no PharmD available. Right now the PharmD is available, and you people, those who are really passionate for job, that kind of corporate job, really seriously think about it. Then there is something called as insurance segment. Not much happening in India, but it is there in UAE, like Middle East. they accept the clinical pharmacist to work in insurance companies. International insurance companies wanted to hire the clinical pharmacist or the pharmacy graduate, basically with the good clinical information, inputs available, knowledge available, to work for their company. So that is also a beautiful option available, and it's a very highly paid job. A lot of vertical growth opportunities are available. I have my friends, I have my batchmates working in that segment. I have my student working in that segment in Middle East. So that's what I'm telling you. These are all full of opportunities for you. Now, this is about the career. Now let me talk about something which can really help you in clinical pharmacy profession, or even in your career growth. Like those who wanted to expertise their skill in clinical pharmacy can really think about a residency program. Now, if you really think about the residency program, it is a US system. Like in US, you have the PGY1 and you have PGY2, or there is a program like PGY1 with PGY2. So they give you specialized training in pharmacy practice, or you can do it either in community pharmacy based or community based managing care, or you can get your experience of residency done in drug information administration. You can do it in emergency care. You can do it in cardiology, ambulatory care. There are plenty of specialization offered in US for residency program. And so in US, if you ask the people in US who are working clinical pharmacy segment, because one of my friend is working, because she's the only Indian working in that hospital as a clinical pharmacist. She's only Indian. She's working in the most prestigious Texas Children's Center. You can just Google it, actually. Texas Children's Center. It's an exclusive hospital. She's an oncology clinical pharmacy specialist. And she used to talk a lot about this residency program. What she used to tell me is, see, if you don't find a job, if you land up in US, if you don't find a job, try to get an opening in residency. Why? Means residency, doing 1 year residency is almost like having a 3 years experience. Like if you do PGY1 and PGY2, it is like you gained an experience for 6 years or at least 4 to 6 years of experience, professional experience. That much experience you will gain during the residency program. And for her, it is a great learning curve when she has done it, because that really made her competent to work in a US system. And also, she was not wasting her time. Instead of that, she was gaining knowledge and skill to work in that community. And finally, she landed in a prestigious institution and presently occupying a post of an oncology pharmacist. And because she assists me a lot with all the information whenever our students approach me, because I got this placement and alumni, etc. So students approach me for so many concerns. So we interact with all these people, and whatever doubts are that we just clarify with these people. And regarding residency, if you got an opportunity to US, don't simply jump to do a residency program without considering these things. Like you need to see the proximity, where you are located and where you are going to do the residency program, the climatic condition, etc. And also look for the site demographics, like whether it is ASHP, that is American Society of Health System Pharmacists accredited, or it is a non-accredited, because it's always better to do it in an accredited center, your residency program. Also check the bed size. See, when you do the residency program and all, this criteria shall be even selected when you really join for your first job. Like if you have set your short-term goal, don't simply jump into any hospital and start working with a badge of clinical pharmacist, because it's not going to help you. Because I still believe a degree won't make a person clinical pharmacist. Degree is just an entry for you. Your experience will really make you a good clinical pharmacist. So even in India, when you are trying for a job, your first job, don't simply jump. You just look for all these criteria, which may be even suitable for your residency selection. Look for the bed size, whether your hospital is accredited, whether it has got a medical college attached, like our institution, it has got an academic center associated with it, and workspace provided, what kind of culture, environment, whether you get real mentorship, whether you get a real assistant from the physician, whether you get a real assistant from your clinical preceptor, all those things has to be checked. So this is how even they say for residency program. When I visited Los Angeles and Michigan and all, Chicago, 3 centers we have visited at that time. They were telling all those things. That's the reason I compile all this information into this. And how is your program structure, whether you get an elective option, whether you are sent to off-site locations, whether you really get a teaching opportunity during the residency program, whether you be teaching the fellow PharmD students during the teaching program, whether you get an opportunity to do researching, etc. So all these things are considered, must be considered when you really choose your residency program. And also, when you choose your first job as a clinical pharmacist, I will say, consider some of these elements, which is going to really help you for gaining more skill and knowledge. Now, residency directories, it is all US residency directory like ASHP is giving excellent information. Those are not open the site, kindly open the site. You get enough information. It is not this that you have to go to US, because even there are some centers in Saudi Arabia, which offers ASHP and ACCP accredited residency program. Like ASHP is, you may be familiar, that is American Society of Health System Pharmacists. And also ACCP, that is American College of Clinical Pharmacists of Greatest Body, I should say, which offers the clinical pharmacy certification, other program, accreditation programs. So if you visit this website, you will get enough information, and they give you the advanced search options like stipend, bed size, census, tax status, etc. And ACCP directory will give you fellowship details. We open it cash. Whenever our students approach, we talk to our friends in those countries and get the information done. That's what I was telling about the mentorship. That makes important for the student. So students should identify who is the right mentor for who can get him the perfect information. So students should make use of such a mentorship. I will say exploit that mentors, because students exploit us. You come and exploit us and get the information done, get the right information done. Like if you go to ACCP directly, you'll get enough information. Because this is offered in Peru, it is offered in Saudi, it is offered in Egypt, because Saudi is accessible for, and those who are fortunate to land in US, they should seriously think about residency program. So this is a website, just a snapshot I have taken, like it is in Saudi, where the residency programs are offered in PGY1 pharmacy, PGY2 in cardiology pharmacy and oncology pharmacy, etc. Similarly, ASHP is also giving some information from Saudi, some UAE, that is Cleveland Clinic Abu Dhabi. I have personally visited over Cleveland Clinic. It's a beautiful center, fully American center, and I have seen a person from Kerala working in that center who is a BPS certified pharmacist. I was really happy for him. And he reached that particular position with the sheer hard work and sheer commitment and sheer interest to develop his skill and knowledge. So these are the centers even we can land, or anyone among you can land up in one day. Okay. Then I want to talk something about the board certification, which can again help you for your career. And board certification, I hope you may be familiar with it, especially your faculties may be familiar with that. Board of Pharmacy Specialties, US. It is one of the internationally recognized and accredited certification for pharmacists. Actually, if you are a BPS certified clinical pharmacist, I believe nobody will question your skill and knowledge. So it ensures that you have the advanced knowledge and experience to improvise the patient outcomes by optimizing the right medication for him. So it really gives you certification that you are skilled, you are competent with the knowledge to get optimized medication and improvise the patient conditions. So if you have BPS certification, you are the best. And it gives some 7-year validity, and you need to go for recertification after 7 years. Now, BPS actually started in 1976, and it is considered as the gold standard for determining the quality of the pharmacist in advanced pharmacy practice levels. It is for the clinical pharmacist I'm talking, those who are interested to work as clinical pharmacists. It may not make a big sense in India. If you ask BPS, what BPS, the HR people may ask, what BPS? You may not do it. But it should not be just for the sake of getting a good job, you should take a BPS. BPS is like improvising your confidence level. Like I have done the PhD for 2 objectives. One of the reason was I want to make my father very happy, because I was just holding a M.Pharm. He wanted to get me a PhD. So I did it. Second objective was to be very confident man. So I'm very confident, and I need not bend my head anywhere because I got the highest qualification offered by a university. So that is the thing. Similarly, BPS, anybody can take with the necessary qualification, necessary eligibility. You can write it from India and you can be a BPS certified pharmacist. And it is a very tough process, tough examination, very tough. You need to get at least 500 score, 500 above score to get qualified for the BPS. But it is really, really, really possible. Really possible. Because I know my student is BPS certified pharmacist and I know how he has achieved it, what is his intelligence level, etc. But it all become possible because of sheer hard work which he has applied. Now, they are the most qualified to take on today's expanding expectations of patients, physicians, and even the employers. So imagine you are PharmD with your eligibility criteria to appear for BPS certification. Try to do it because it is going to add your weightage anywhere without hesitation. You can send your CV as a clinical pharmacist. Now, BPS actually is accredited by the National Commission for Certifying Agencies, the higher standard in US, and also accreditation body that is ICE, that is Institute for Credentialing Excellence, that is ICE. You can just refer on ICE and the significance of ICE and NCCA. They set the standard, they accredited the program, they accredited the certification programs, they accredited the fellowship programs and licensure programs, licensure examinations, etc. So BPS is accredited by them, so it set the standard. Now, what are the specialties which you can gain? Like board certified in ambulatory care pharmacist, you can be a cardiology pharmacist, sterile compounding pharmacist, critical care pharmacist. This is a BCCCP. Then board certified geriatric pharmacist, infectious disease pharmacist, and also transplant pharmacist. Then also there is nuclear pharmacist, then psychiatry pharmacist also. There I know one person, one of my senior, working as board certified psychiatric pharmacist in US. And there is board certified oncology pharmacist, is another one of my friend I told working in Texas Children's Center. Then board certified pediatric pharmacy specialist, pharmacotherapy specialist. Okay, then what is the eligibility? Obviously, a program, if a graduate from US, like a graduate from a pharmacy program accredited by ACPE, that is Accreditation Council for Pharmacy Education, can do it, can apply for it. Or any person from outside US, like my student who is from India, who is from Kerala, he has done it. So you need to you must be eligible to apply for BPS, provided if you have 4 years of practice experience or completion of PGY1 residency plus additional 1 year of practice experience. That's what I said. My friend used to tell me it's like 3 years of experience if you do one PGY1. So with one PGY1, add 1 year practice experience, you are eligible to write the BPS examination. Then completion of specialty, that is PGY2 residency. So all this can make you qualified or eligible for attending board certification examination. And I believe it is around $600, which is a fee which you need to pay for board certification examination. It's a tough examination, very stringent examination, but I will not say that it will get you a job. No, it will get you confidence. It gives a certification about your competency, skill, and knowledge. Obviously, enrich your CV. So possibility of staying ahead of race is always higher. But it is not common in India. But I believe somehow the information is not shared much among the clinical pharmacists, or somehow we feel inferior to attend a clinical board certification examination. That may be the reason we don't have much turnout for board certification exams from India right now. Value is very high. As I said, most rigorous credential to demonstrate the competency for a specialist practice. Like if I'm certified with ambulatory care or psychiatric care, I'm a specialist in that segment. It proves my competency in that particular area of expertise, like psychiatry, cardiology, or oncology. And also demonstrate a pharmacist's commitment to uphold the relationship with the patients. And also, it gives you preserve the trust, I should say, or it will ensure the trust in pharmacist ability for the patient so that whatever he is providing you is the best. When I say I'm a board certified pharmacist and work in US or work in Middle East, patient, believe me, may not happen right now in India, but again, if it gets popularized, obviously people will come to know about it, and whatever advice given by you, patient will believe it. There will be trust imposed on you from the patients. So that guarantee is provided by the board certification, and obviously you become really, really confident on about your ability. Okay, so some of the resources, study resources you can gain from American College of Clinical Pharmacy website. American Society of Health System Pharmacists can provide the information about all this board certification study material. And also there is BPS website which will give you the more information. And also there is a link which will give you substantial information required for an international applicant who is appearing for board certification. Now, those who are really interested to do the board certification, I can also assist them by connecting. That's what I told you. The mentor should connect. Like I can get the connection done so that I can introduce you to my student who is right now working as a clinical pharmacist, who is a board certified pharmacist in Saudi, John Hopkins Aramco Hospital. So those who are interested can really make use of it. Okay, so this is a certification for international applicant. How you should do it? You need to meet requirement whether you are eligible for that. Pay the fee. That is, I told you $600 or something. You need to get your transcript done. So you need to submit all these transcript details to the certification body. They will check and they will validate it. Once it is done, you can schedule your exam. You can schedule it properly, and all the information will be shared to you in your official or your communication email ID. You need to prepare yourself for the examination. Set the date for examination. Once the examination is done, there is part 1 which has got 100 multiple choice items which has to be finished in 2.5 hours. Then you can either take an optional break, that after this 100 question MCQs, which has to be finished in 2.5 hours. If required, you can take a break for 30 minutes. Then you need to go for the second part, that is 75 multiple choice examination, which you need to finish in hardly 1 hour 53 minutes testing period. So very stringent, very tough, but highly possible or very much possible, because nothing is impossible. So results will be announced in 60 days time. Now, if you got a score more than 500, you are eligible and your certification will be reached your email inbox. And if you're under 500, you have to take the examination within 1 year at a reduced cost. You need not pay again 600 USD. You have to pay the reduced fee, but you need to take the examination within 1 year. If it is after 1 year, you need to pay again $600 and get your examination schedule done. Possible. Those who are really looking for a better career in clinical pharmacy, I will advise them, I'll prefer them to go for board certification, because there are so many certification programs available, but this is the gold standard. That is the reason I'm suggesting this one. So this is the information which I want to share with you. And finally, I would like to give you some takeaway message. Go for quality education. Passion and work is important. Then also workout plans should be there. Learn always from your mistakes or faults. Communication is networking is very much important. Culture and ethics, you have to follow it. We have our ethics, professional ethics. We have our culture. You have to follow it. Then finally, take a call and also learn and educate. Whatever you learn, please pass on to others. Educate others, because that will improvise you further. So this is a snapshot I have taken from US. She is actually a pharmacy intern. She is a preceptor. They are managing a patient in in their workspace. And this is a community pharmacist working. It's like a software or IT center, but it's just a pharmacy. Okay, now finally, I believe pharmacy is right for me, because I asked a question whether pharmacy is right for me. Now I believe pharmacy is right for me. And I also believe you will also believe that pharmacy is right for you. So thank you, and God bless.